as Mac has said, we're now on 27 league goals this season, which is now top of the league. In fact, only Liverpool the nearest with 24, so they're 3 behind in terms of goals scored. And after 12 games, I would say that is fairly significant when it comes to how many goals we are scoring at the moment. And you ask a lot of Tottenham fans, you probably ask most Tottenham fans, where's our biggest need for improvement in terms of quality, and where are we not strong enough? I reckon most Tottenham fans would say the attack, and it's the front three that needs the biggest improvement, and we don't have enough quality there, and that's what we probably neglected in the summer. We didn't improve on the quality in the front three, but we are sitting here after 12 games 3 goals clear of anyone else in terms of goals scored. So Ricky, the question is, I guess, do we underrate our own attacking players, when we're scoring that amount of goals? What if our attack is that bad, or if that attack is the one that needs so much improvement, why are we sitting here being the league's top goal scorers after 12 games by a fairly significant margin?
Well, it's interesting you asked that. I think what's also key is, I think at the moment, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Sim, you're the stats man here, as is Macca. I think James Maddison's currently our highest leading scorer at the moment. I think he currently tops the goal scoring chart for Tottenham with 5. So that's not a bad thing, don't get me wrong. I mean, what the great thing has been this season is that there's been goals spread across the team. That's one of the things that, if you remember, under the Harry Kane era at Tottenham, we didn't always do that. We were heavily reliant on Harry Kane's goals. It was always to him we'd turn to get us back into game to win games. So I think what's really important is this season we have seen a spread of goals across the team. It's magnificent that we're leading the goal scoring charts, but I think what you need to bear in mind is, and it's a great thing as well to say this, the way Ange wants to play his football, because it is so high intense, high octane football, we do create a lot of chances. So it does mean you're going to get a lot of goals. And we made that point when Harry was, before leaving the club, saying how many goals would Harry Kane get in an Ange Postecoglou team, because they create so many chances. I think what I do want to say on our forward line, and look, you can always improve it. You can always improve it. I think we were all disappointed in the summer. We know the club had Eze in that stadium 3 or 4 times last season, a base soccer agent, of course, he was there. Struggled to understand why Spurs didn't get that deal done. I think the player was keen to come. Again, it might come down to wages, about paying a fee up front. Pedro Neto, it's been widely reported, the great Paul O'Keefe said it. Paul said, Spurs put in a bid for Neto. They tried to include Oliver Skip as part of that package. Wolves wanted straight cash. What happened? Chelsea got a sniff of the deal. Chelsea went off with the money and they got the deal done. I'm not sitting here trying to, blaming Tottenham. The reality is that if you want a player, you just got to go out and get them and get it done. And what Tottenham did is they did that with Dominic Solanke. They went and got Dominic Solanke in the team. I think Dominic's done really well for Tottenham. I think his build-up play has been really impressive. I see a lot more than just goals to Dom's game. I think he helps us so much in terms of bringing in those forwards into play. I think he holds up the ball ever so well. Yes, he's a different striker to Harry Kane. It's hard for Dom. He's following the greatest ever striker for us of the club's modern era. But I like what Dominic Solanke's offered so far. I think if I can just say on Brennan Johnson, who seems to get a lot of stick still from the Spurs fan base, that Brennan's criticised sometimes for not scoring big goals in big games. Well, he scored against United, he scored against City, he scored against Villa. That's been one of the criticisms, that he hasn't scored enough in big games. He's getting big game goals now, Brennan. And yes, you could argue it's the 4th goal or, against City at the weekend. But at the reality point, you've got to say, players are improving. But I'd be lying if I said to you, Sim, that I'm not concerned about the lack of depth we've got in the forward line. I think probably the club would like to send Timo Werner back to Leipzig. It's whether Leipzig will take him back and can find a home for him somewhere else. I think that'll be one of the areas that I'd love to see Spurs go in January and invest. But the reality is, as we know now, because of what it would cost us quality-wise to upgrade that front line, you're probably going to have to pay the likes of a 60, 70 million kind of signing to do that. But again, we have got Yang-Min Hook coming in. I think he's coming and arriving in December. We'll see how he settles. Maybe he'll surprise us. It's not all about spending money. And I rattle off price tags there because I think the players Tottenham need are now of that elite level where ultimately you're going to have to spend the money. But at the same time, I haven't got too much disregard about the forwards. Players are helping each other at the moment. It's been a real spreading across the goals from the whole team. And Dom's worked so hard that I don't look at Dominic Solanke, for example, and judge him just based on his goal score. I judge him overall on what he's bringing to the team. I mean, Decky, for example. Decky now is coming as a number 10. And, he's almost had a new position created for him there. And we're having to sometimes play James in that as well. So to answer the question, we can always improve our forward line. Do I think we will? I don't think that will be the problem. I don't think that will be the main area we look to focus on. I think Spurs, I would like to think, will look at that number 6 role being still a position they need to address, unless we do see a real consistency between now and then of the window opening with regards to Gray, Basuma, Bergval, Bentancur, please God, when he gets back, which I think is end of December. So there'll be work to do, but overall the forward line, we can improve, but happy with what I see at the moment.
What do you think, Macca? I think a lot of people have been complaining for, especially after, defeats about a forward line being bang average and not good enough, and Brennan not being good enough, and all these different things. But we are, as I said, sitting here after 12 games, 3 goals clear of anyone else in the league when it comes to goals scored. So for you, is this, I mean, I guess depending on what you want to achieve this season, but is this forward line good enough? Do we have enough quality in the forward line? Is it underestimated? Because a lot of people saying, "Oh, we've got the worst front 3 in the top 6." Well, when you compare it to our rivals, it's not good enough. But where do you stand on how good our front 3 are, or our forward options, I should say?
Well, again, I don't think the stats bear that last statement out. So I'd like to see a survey of what people think of our front 3. Maybe we'll put that on our Twitter accounts, because we've got quite a broad range there. I've just done some statistics. The Blue Book is out in force today. When you look at, when you look at kind of, what is the key point, what is the kind of a benchmark at this point? So 12 games in on average for Man City over the last 5 years, not including this year, but the previous 5 years, they've scored on average 34 goals by this point. So that we're 7 goals behind an average City. Now, you've got to put into context. Again, this is what you've got to put into context. One of them seasons, they scored 40 goals by this point, and that was the season they wanted to get 100 points. It was a 17-18 season. They scored 106 goals, which hasn't been done since. It was a record, and they've never, ever done it. And we when you look at it on average, we're 7 goals behind the juggernaut, which is City. So against him, I think the statistics are bearing that we're in a good position. When you look at I don't want to bring up winning the league because Rick will kill me. But when you look at the teams that are up there in the top 3, let's just say the top 3, on average, it's around 28, 30, 32 in that order of teams that are winning that league, that are scoring this amount of goals during this period. Now, we might go on a run where we don't score for 6 games and this conversation becomes completely irrelevant. But if you continue on that trajectory and you can get the forwards still firing, I think, again, we can make a brilliant point about Solanke. I love him as well. I think we all do. I don't think there's a bad word to say about him. If there's something you could improve on, is his goal ratios, and that will come in this team. So all of a sudden, you've got to look forward to that. This is what I'm saying. Don't look backwards. Use statistics to benchmark, but look forward. Do you think Solanke in this team is going to score 15 plus Premier League goals? My answer would be yes. So you're going to get more goals out of Solanke if, it is a big if, we can keep the likes of Richarlison back fit. Will he get? He proved last season that he can get 8-9 goals in a big spell. Can we get that out of him again? Can we continue Brennan Johnson? Can we get Odegaard fit? Is he going to be able to have some goal contributions as well? And then Sonny as well. I mean, by his high standards, and this is only his high standards, he's going through one of them periods at the moment where people are saying he's lost his legs, get rid of him, he's too old, which basically means around the corner he's about to score in every single game for the next 9. Which is that's what Sonny does, right? Are you with me, Sim?
Mm-hmm.
So
exactly.
When you look at that, the underlying statistics bear fruit, and actually it's really good stuff to look forward to. You know that Sonny will score 15 Premier League goals. You know it's happening. Like you're delusional if you don't think that's going to happen. You know that Solanke has the ability to go and do that in this team. You know now Brennan. Even the Brennan doubters must be thinking, well, hang on a minute, this bloke's going to score at least, well, he's going to get 10 Premier League goals, isn't he? Because he's already got 8. So, sorry, he's got 8? 8 in all competitions, right?
8 all comps, yeah.
Yeah, 8 in all comps. So, he's going to get, Maddison now. You must be fancying Maddison. For how many games have you played? 12. So we've got 26 games left. You've got to be fancying Maddison to score at least another 5. Like I'm really being kind of like trying to play it down as much as possible. 5 in the
That's massively put it down for you.
I know. So he's gonna. That's what I mean. So you've got to be looking at him now and thinking, well, he's got to score at least another 5. So he's going to be on double figures. So I think, and Kulu as well. The form that he is showing, Decky, is off the chart. He ain't got enough goals yet. Like in my opinion. So I think there's a massive improvement from a goal return for Decky, a massive improvement with a goal return from Dominic Solanke, a massive goal return improvement for Son, which it'll come because he's proven it. So I think that we're moving in that right direction against him. I think that is the attack underrated. I'm not sure it's underrated because of what Rick said. We're sharing the goals around. But I do find it hilarious. I literally laugh out loud every time Sky and these mainstream medias put these statistics up. They're really proud of the fact that Haaland has 57% of all City goals. They're really proud of the fact that Salah has 56% of all Liverpool goals. But when it was Harry Kane, it was the Harry Kane team. It was a one-man team. It is terrible. So it's really interesting how... And again, credit to Ange. I'm going to big up Ange again here. Big up to the big Ange because he lost Harry Kane on the eve of the Brentford game, and we've still scored the amount of goals that we've scored without the best number 9 in the world. And I've said it forever. And as Rick just alluded to, if he was in this team, we wouldn't get the Dominic Solanke press, but we would get the Harry Kane goals, and we'd probably be on 35, 40 goals by this point. Because he would definitely score more goals than what we have. So I think it's, again, going in the right direction. I'm not sure it's an underrated attack. I just think it's not a very sexy attack. When we had the likes of Bale and we had the likes of Son and we had the likes of Kane, that was just pure. I mean, as a Tottenham fan, you're like, oh my God, this is so sexy. Is Brennan Johnson, a Son and a Dominic Solanke is sexy? Probably not. Are they the big names that people wanted? Probably not. Did they cost... did they have a high level of investment? Absolutely. I mean, Dom and Johnson was 100 million plus, 110 million between the two of them. So it's not small money, but that's why. I mean, the numbers have been putting up there, and I think it's the type of goals. I think it's the taking the game with the scruff of the neck, that kind of ability to beat a player and do it on your own. That's what I mean about that sexy thing. And Johnson isn't that. He's a get the ball down, get the back post, get in the back of the net. His numbers are great, but he's not that kind of David Ginola, Rafa van der Vaart, Dele Alli. When Dele Alli scored, you just knew Dele Alli was scoring. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's hard to
feel it. You can feel it.
It was like, and it's no disrespect to Brennan Johnson at all. I love the bloke, but that's why maybe some fans are underwhelmed by it. But his numbers are there. Dom's numbers aren't there, to be fair, and that's the positive. That's not a negative.
But he's getting a few assists, Dom. He's got like 4 goals and 2 assists, so I think it's not bad numbers. But obviously, when you sign a strike of 60 million, you want him to be a pure goal scorer. We know he got 19 goals last season, but he's one of those players that next week he could probably get a brace, and all of a sudden his numbers look quite good. Like, it can change very quickly with people like Dom Solanke.
Get a hat-trick against Bournemouth, mate. Put that in your ACCA right now. He's against Bournemouth. Don't worry about that.
If you look at all competitions for Solanke, he's got, 6, 7, 8, 9. He's got 9 goal contributions in 14 games. So, I mean, it's not bad when you put it that way.
It's because I see it bizarre. I'm happy with Solanke. I find it bizarre. I'm saying as Macca. I'm very happy with Solanke. I'm very happy.
That's what he brings to the team. He's what he brings to the team. The goals will come, like it. They will. That 100%. Like you say, he get a couple on the trot. Yeah, I mean, in the mix,
it's really important you made that point, though. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I say I've not really even been too concerned about. I've not actually been sitting there every week thinking, "Oh God, Dom hasn't scored," because I've seen what he's bringing to the team and how he's really bringing in other players and building up play. I've got to say, I've not been worried so far about that. I've seen certain, we actually had a discussion, I think, on the weekend last one on Spurs. It was mentioned about, are we concerned by frequent or infrequency of goals? But I think he brings so much to the team that I'm not too concerned. I mean, look, the thing about, this is a props to Ange, that the way he wants to play his football, we're always going to create chances. And it's in such typical Spurs way that if we were more clinical with our chances, we'd have more goals. Bless Timo Werner. Let's not dig him out, but I'm digging him out by saying this. But how many chances has he had 1-on-1 this season? At least 4, 5, 6. those goals go in, it even adds more to the ratio. So
just on that, I mean, we say this quite a lot in the group about the importance of beating big teams and all that sort of stuff. I was actually doing some workings out yesterday. If we'd have lost to Man City but beaten Palace and Ipswich, would that have been better? Do you know what I mean? Like, maybe would that have been better for the results? Would that have been better for the fans at the time?
I mean, it's more points.
Well, no, but that's my point. Sorry, that's my double phrasing there. That's my point on the points. Is that of course it would have been better on the points, but for a longer term development, would it have been better? Listen to that. It's the same with the amount of goals. It's the same with Timo Werner. All them chances that he's missed, horrendous. But if he goes and scores a 91st minute winner against Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, is all forgiven. Do you see what I'm coming from? Like, again, it's a concept thing. Like, Lucas Moura, I actually think Lucas Moura was as infuriating as Timo Werner to a certain degree.
I agree. I know.
Don't get me wrong, his finishing was outstanding, right? And we now hold him in unbelievable legendary status.
You're so right, Macca. You're so right.
Semi-final, and he scored a hat-trick against Huddersfield, right? And he scored 2 against Manchester United, and he scored the header when he came on in the 2-2 draw at the Etihad. He scored some really good goals, and obviously he's an icon because of the hat trick. But there's been loads of times where Lucas Moore's got the ball down. You think, "Go on, son," and he just.
Macca, can I just interrupt you on that? Do you remember that head loss against Anfield? He came on, got sent off. We lost the game. He was a little bit.
So exactly. Yeah. So I think it's really tough because I'm human as well. I'm like a normal football fan, like all of us. Yeah, but actually, it's so difficult sometimes to just look at it on the bigger, wider picture. When you go pound for pound, Timo Werner, and I know we're not even talking about Timo, but he's part of that attack. Timo Werner misses way too many chances. He's not good enough. But if like he got that, I mean, has either of yours or the viewers and listeners opinions changed on Timo when he rifled that goal in against City?
No, because he would have missed 2 5 minutes later.
But it doesn't make the loan worth it just to get him through that cup tie.
Right.
I'll answer that Sim in February. Martin, we've won the bloody thing.
That's the most important game. So that's my point, isn't it? Is if he comes on and scores a winner in the Carabao Cup final, or whatever,
no, then it bloody is
win the trophy or whatever it is, everything else is forgotten. So I think there is a method to the madness of bringing him back, and I'm not trying to stick up for Timo Werner. I've been one of his biggest critics as well, but you can see he burned Kyle Walker. I mean, Kyle Walker, I love Walker, mate. He's my favourite ever player at Spurs, like one of my favourite players. I don't know why, he's just quality.
Macca, just say what you said in the first show. What did you say on Last One of Spurs, on Macca's first ever Last One of Spurs show, which is about 1947 now? What did you say?
Yeah. I said that we're never if we sell Kyle Walker, it will be the beginning of the end, and we'll never replace him, and we haven't. We never replace him. Now,
getting good, but it's taking how many years to get Porro?
How many years? Yeah. But so that's why I like Kyle Walker. He used to play he played position I used to play as well, and my number 2. So I think he burned him, and so he has got a role to play in that attacks him moving forward. It's such a shame. Do you know what the disappointing thing is? Being a Spurs fan is using the words "it's such a shame." And it's such a shame that Richie can't get fit. It's such a shame that Odegaard's out for such a long time. When we're having to talk about these, but I'd love to see Odegaard. Young, fresh, talent, goes left, goes right, up and down. We just haven't seen him. It's the same as Manor Solomon. I mean, I see some people calling to come back because he scored 2 against freaking Swansea or whatever yesterday, or whatever. And
2 tap-ins.
But again, I feel bad for Solomon because he got a couple of assists against Burnley, and then we never saw the bloke again because he was injured, and that's what Odegaard is. It's these injuries they're a nightmare actually for Spurs.
I think the hard thing though, Macca, is with that. I think this is the hard thing. Ange always said in the first season he wouldn't be surprised if he got multiple injuries in terms of hamstrings. I think I don't know if it's a problem, but what appears to be the case is that we do play at game intensity in training. I mean, many would think, are you sure about game intensity? Did you see Ipswich? Did you see Brighton in the second half? But we're led to believe they do play at game intensity in training. The problem is with that, is you are going to have situations where you do get contact or non-contact injuries, and that's something I'll have to look at. I saw many.
It just has a knock-on effect.
Yeah, Ange said in his presser that he does that because he feels like you need to be matching that intensity in training for the game, and as well he believes that the players become more robust as that goes on as the season. And actually, if you look at his previous teams, it's a common theme that in the first season they tend to get a lot of injuries, and that seems to clear up a bit second season, albeit for us hasn't quite worked out that way. And in terms of like the front line for me, like I think the whole season there's been a lot of criticism about this front line's not good enough, and there's a lack of quality in the front line. But I think Ange has built a good front line for the football that we want to play. Like, whatever you want to say about Brennan, he knows how to play while Ange wants him to play. He might not be the best winger in the world, but I was saying right at the beginning of the season, he's not the best player in the league, but he's an effective player. He's a very good tactical player. He gets to that far post. He's a very good back post. He's a very good finisher across the face to goal. He's very good at those low crosses across the face to goal as well to the back post. He can do that with regularity, and he's showing that this season time and time again. I think Dom Solanke's been a phenomenal signing with what he can offer with his hold-up play and all that kind of stuff. Sonny, whatever people want to say about Sonny, he's got 7 goal contributions this season in 9 starts because he's been injured, and he's still providing a threat off the left wing. If you look at our first choice front three, you could make a very good argument 2 of them get in the Arsenal team, in the Arsenal front line, and people say that they're title challengers. Also, I think when people talk about our attack, I think a lot of people do neglect to add in Maddison and Decky in there because they are goal threats, and they are people who do get into the final third and get goals and assists with regularity. And also, how many teams in the league have 2 players in 2 midfield options like Decky and Maddison who provide such unbelievable attacking threat in their squad? Even the best, like you look at Man City, they've got De Bruyne, but how many other midfielders do they have that both provide such goal threat like Maddison and Decky? Arsenal have Odegaard, but do they have a second one? I don't think so. Like Liverpool don't really have that kind of goal threat for midfield like we do with Maddison and Decky. Chelsea have Palmer, fair enough. Palmer probably provides for goal threat probably with Maddison and Decky combined, but like still, it's only one player. Like, not many teams in the league have 2 quality number 10s in their squad like we do with Decky and Maddison, and that doesn't get taken into consideration, I don't think. Go on, Macca.
No, I was going to say, it's a really interesting point. Just to flip that, I know it's about attack, but when you look at the loss of Rodri in Man City, I know it's defensive midfield, number 6. Your point you're making is how many teams have quality, double quality in one position. Well, Manchester City, this is the juggernaut that is City. They haven't got a Ballon d'Or winner replacement for the winner of the Ballon d'Or, and this is Man City, and they have been struggling. Right? There's no doubt about it. They have absolutely been struggling. And by the way, they've conceded 4 more goals. Really nice one. That was us, but they've conceded 4 more goals than what we have all season. So when you make the points about the attack, and maybe you're right. Maybe it is a little bit underrated, but Ange has always been clear, and this is why I do take it up when people criticise him, because he's always been clear from the day he walked through the iron gates at White Hart Lane, the Bill-Nick gates at White Hart Lane, so to speak. When he walked through Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, he's always been clear to say, I need to improve the attack. I need to improve it. He said that time and time again. Now, how many teams in the Premier League have got 2 £60 million strikers that work with them? And I know Erling Haaland, if you sell him in the open market, it would be way more than that. But they actually purchased him for like 57 million. He's actually cheaper. Couldn't make this up, could you? He was actually cheaper than Dominic Solanke. So if you look at that, if you look at Darwin Núñez as a number 9. They scored 3 goals yesterday. He wasn't on the score sheet. I'm not even sure he even played. He was 85 million. When you look at Chelsea, they haven't even got a proper recognised striker. They've got that Nicholas Jackson. He's been scoring goals, to be fair to him. But when you look at Arsenal, have they got an actual recognised number 9 striker type situation? We've got 2. One of them never plays. He's always injured. I understand that. But the fact of the matter is, and the coaching staff, the recruitment staff, has actually brought 2 60+ million pound strikers to the football club. Does that make sense? I mean,
Yeah,
I will cover that
100%.
then. We did sell the best ever number 9, in my opinion, for 100 million. So, but that's where we are. I think, yeah, maybe our attack is underrated, Sim.